I don't know if you can tell that I look like shit. Beyond that, I am the founder of a social media company for authors that is debuting in June. I worked as a freelance world builder for 7 years. I'm currently a writing coach. I worked at book companies, bookstores, libraries. I've worked in publishing or around publishing for a long, long time. I am the author and currently working on 9 projects simultaneously because I hate myself. I have a lot of feedback. I actually just got this email, which I'm sure everybody else did, about NaNoWriMo shutting down. I read it. I'm redoing the broadcast because I have a lot more to say about the whole thing. So I wanted to formally, as somebody who is running a company, multiple businesses within the writing sphere, want to kind of go over what this email is with all of you. So I'm going to read it out for you and then we're going to dive into it. Ahem. To our NaNoWriMo community, we come to you today with sad news. After 6 years of struggling to sustain itself financially, NaNoWriMo, the nonprofit, will begin the process of shutting down. Explaining how we got here is both simple and complex. The funding woes that have threatened so many nonprofits in recent years are an unextraordinary trend. Many beloved organizations announced their closure last year. Many more are fighting for their lives. Media coverage of a financial crisis within the sector, especially among arts nonprofits, has been widespread. Yet, there are ways in which NaNoWriMo is extraordinary, and reasons why we had hoped that we could buck that trend. The sheer size of our community, its global reach, and its longevity held at impressive levels even during a tumultuous year. There is no shortage of writers who want to participate in NaNoWriMo, yet building a community and being able to sustain it are two different matters. 2024 was a revelatory year. In order to fully understand how we reached this decision and why we view it as the only alternative, we encourage you to watch this video about the state of NaNoWriMo. This video also contains some important acknowledgments and information about the logistics of our next steps. Most importantly, the video shares real data and information that the organization has not discussed previously. The thought is thicker than you might think. We recognize that the closure of NaNoWriMo represents a huge loss to the writing community, and that grief over this outcome will be exacerbated by the challenges of the past 16 months. This is not the ending that anybody wanted or planned, and believe us, if we could hit the delete button and rewrite this last chapter, we would. But we do have hope for the epilogue. What's next for NaNoWriMo, the indebted nonprofit, is much different than what's next for actual Rhymos. We hold no belief that people will stop writing 50,000 words in November and April and July, or stop seeking support for the journey that they're on. Many alternatives to NaNoWriMo popped up this year, and people did find each other. In so many ways, it is easier than it was when NaNoWriMo began in 1999 to find your writing tribe online. Our greatest hope at this moment is that you do two things: support arts nonprofits that you love, they really truly need you, and keep writing words. Your stories matter. Thank you for all of that you have done for this organization and especially for each other all of these years. Sincerely, the NaNoWriMo team. This is the additional notes are basically about what you can do if you want to go and grab your stuff. It's basically a like we're closing, so like if you want to come grab it in the next week, come do that. I want to take it from the top because first off, explaining how we got here, simple and complex. They they try and position themselves as if this is something that is happening to arts organizations out of the blue everywhere, and it's just a sign of the times. It's just apocalyptic for no real reason. There's no responsibility that they take in this, in which, understandably so, yes, there are arts nonprofits that are closing down, and it is heartbreaking. There needs to be more support for writers. They did this one to themselves. I don't know if you remember, NaNoWriMo has gone through a lot of drama in the last little while. In fact, it started, like they said, and take account for 16 months ago, in which they were charged with child endangerment and a investigation. They realized none of their volunteers had background checks done. Nobody was trained on how to work with children. There was no moderation. There was no verification. They literally just had people say, I want to work with kids, and they gave them a double thumbs up, and they didn't know each other's names. They directly contributed to child endangerment, and when they got called out for it because, bad things happened to children on their behalf under their watch, they went, oh, what are you going to do about it? It has been a year and a half. They've been promising that they are going to put things in place to help with that, and nothing happened. I will amend that actually. They did put in a new youth program to do more of the same, even though they had nothing to fix their reputation. They had no reparations for what had already happened. Um, many people left that, left the organization, like the employees who work there left the organization over this one thing. Similarly, not even last September, they doubled down on their stance on AI, which I will get into in a second. This is going to be relevant to something I'm going to bring up in a little second. The ways that we could hope that we could buck this trend, the sheer size of our community, its global reach, and its longevity held at impressive levels even during a tumultuous year. Now, they say this as though we've been fine, we've been maintaining well for a long time. There's been no change. We've been ducking and dodging all of the bullets coming our way. 2024 just put us under. That was it. That was the silver bullet. We got put down. As if it was just like they caught us stray. And it's like there's no version in which you are fighting this championship fight to an incredible degree. You are ducking and weaving, and then you get hit with a left hook that you didn't expect, and that's the career. That's what happens in show business, baby. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. It's another deflection, and they're trying to make sure that your mind is not on the ownership that they should have taken to avoid this entire thing. This video that they post contradicts a lot of the points that they have in this entire thing. They keep positioning themselves as if they are champions of the community when they have done more things to directly harm the community and have retroactively destroyed the goodwill and good fortune that they have given to the community. When I joined Nano was in 2018, their height, their all-time greatest. It was a miracle to walk into a shopping mall and in the cafeteria see somebody with a NaNoWriMo sticker on their laptop and have that shared understanding of we know who we are. Showing up to the library and doing drafting runs with complete strangers. It was very exciting being in college during Nano when you have other people who are aspiring indie authors that you pass by and you go, me and you, was otherworldly. And they destroyed the connection that indie authors could have had with each other by making it hard to have any sort of association with the company, with the organization as a whole. Now, going into this a little bit more, this is an article from Wired. This is the one that broke when they finally released its article. This is their article, their position on artificial intelligence. You'll find many videos about this. I won't go in super detail about this. NaNoWriMo not explicitly supporting, but not really condemning any approach. Being very fence city and being like, well, we're for the community, so if you want to do it, I mean, who are we to judge? Because they were just accepting money and working with people who were using AI that were scraping writers' works. They were using AI and promoting AI as a paid partnership that was directly affecting the life work of the writers they claimed to support. Now, they doubled down on this point when they were called out on it, and this is why this article was eventually released to the NaNoWriMo homepage. They doubled down on this, is that it is classist and ableist in undertone. That not everybody has financial ability and not everybody has ability whatsoever. And it was such a gross, a truly soul-sucking, disgusting thing to back up and hide behind the wall of disability as to why you should be fine with AI, as if that makes it okay. There are more than enough ways to help and understand and take the disparity in what happens in the writerly community when we look at classism, when we look at ableism, and helping indie authors perform and find the equity that they deserve to get to the same point as everybody else in the community. And to think that AI is one of those tools is not right, because AI is directly a harmful thing. It always has been. It still currently is. Is that trend going to change? Probably not. Probably not. And doubling down and hiding, using them as a meat shield for the internet hate was insane. This, of course, blew up, in which they released another second article that then again doubled down on this point, and they have not been able to release it. Now, at this point, people stopped using NaNoWriMo. People stopped using it. They stopped competing because of their association with AI. There was a max exodus, which is why in the article they talk about, oh, we've actually, like, there's a ton of alternatives that have just popped up because of our influence. It is because they were doing unhealthy, damaging actions to people in the community. So people were forced to flee somewhere that they once felt safe and at home with. They once had a community. They abandoned that community because they could not find that safety anywhere else. Or they could not find their safety there and had to find somewhere else that is not the same. If they had, I don't know, been for the community and been for writers like they had mentioned in their mission from the beginning, would we still be in the same place? If they had said, wow, all of our authors seem to really hate AI, this is really strange, would they still be closed down, closing up shop, and indebted? So, in the NaNoWriMo, this is this is on the Reddit post. This was a Reddit post that was released and kind of headed the charge of the official statements that were happening. There are so many, I mean, the organization dropping me along with their entire force of 800 volunteers. This was like nuclear for the writing company or the writing industry, especially indie writers on social media, are already so small in terms of the internet and the size and the scale. There are many readers. Book Talk has made it more accessible to be a reader and a writer. It's still pretty small. It's not as big as maybe like football fans, or if we look at the microcosms of the internet as a whole, there's really quite few of us. So when we're talking about losing thousands and thousands of people, that is mass exodus. It's not the same as Instagram, who has 3 billion daily users, not having 200,000 show up. You know, that's not the same. This is something where they're losing half of their user base, of their volunteers, of their staff, due to, again, child endangerment, doubling down on the use of AI. Still pursuing writing, even though being disabled, in his word or her words, to the fucking max. I'm a minority, and AI would hinder, not help my case. It would further put me in the trenches. Again, this is on NaNoWriMo subreddit at the time that this was going down. This is like, people are agreeing with these statements. Nobody's being like, I don't know, guys, I kind of fucking like it. As a disabled poor writer who had definitely had my work stolen already, F this, F them, F the AI sponsor they wrote in on. I haven't been involved since they treated me badly as a municipal leader, one of their local volunteers. I trained myself to write well. I don't need AI. Anyone promising success in publishing is a huge red flag. Agreed. Finally deleted my Nano account. I was end of 13 years. 45 people agreed. Yeah, of course. Their site is still up. If you are watching this video and you are being like, oh, that sucks, you can still go grab anything from, your lifetime word count to any projects that you might have been working on. If you want to reach out to friends that you might only have through the platform, now's the time. After that, I would delete the platform. And no matter what, please do not donate. I want to get into the video that was attached to this. This little guy right here is a doozy. We're going to work through this. I have a couple of points. So, kicking it off, they mentioned that in 2022, right here, 1.3 million a year. This was their annual spend. So when you are running a nonprofit, you don't really make any money off the top. You're not supposed to make money as a business to pay everybody out. A lot of your money is coming from sponsors. It's coming from investment or funding. So, for example, rich old white man who loves books just throws $1 million your way because he doesn't care. You get it like that. Another one that they did was merchandise. That's all fair game with their structure of the nonprofit. One thing that I would recommend, point out, is that they usually do plans for annual spending. They have Excel sheet upon Excel sheet for operating expenses, for where and what they are investing into, where are they putting their resources, where are they holding their money. This is all normal, well and good, well-traveled ground. Very often there are lawyers who you can hire, either that have been certified by the government or partnered with the government to come in and show you how to run this. People who work exclusively in nonprofits, there are an abundance of them, and it's not new ground. If you've been running a nonprofit, even in this case from 2018 to 2023, but more likely they've been in business since 1999, the mismanagement, these negative numbers should not have been there. Like, for example, 1.3 for 2018, you're in the hole $50,000. That's rough. That's pretty shit. Even though you made 400,000 that year, that's kind of a lot. 2019, we upped the budget. In fact, we lose even twice, nearly 3 times as much as before. We make even less. Okay, we're gonna turn this down a little bit. We're gonna take $150,000 off. This is, I would hate to be the accountant that has to put this on my resume. Showcasing these 6 years and having this many red numbers, openly admitting that you're running in a deficit for the majority of 6 years, using we took out a loan actually in 2020, and that's why we had $150,000 loan. This is not $150,000. They're still in the pink here. This is rough. This is really, really rough. And again, going back to that email where they were like, it's a shame. That's just how nonprofits are going. They had 6 years, more than half a decade to pivot. They have been suffering like this 2 years before the pandemic was an idea. They had been net negative since I've been in high school. I'm graduated college. It's 2025. We don't even get the last 2 years, by the way, of their official financing reports. And we all know how that must look, considering, again, 16 months ago is when they faced the problems of child endangerment and doubled down on AI and lost multitudes of users. I want to move on to, where is it? The expense breakdown. Now, this one was what really set me off. As somebody who is running a business, again, in the space, and the ideas around finances here, this stresses me out, man. I'm so sorry. I'm sick to do this too. This is rough. Okay. Average of $850,000 per year going to staff and payroll and benefits. Pay everybody you work with a livable wage. You should always, if you have money as a business, especially even if you're making 1.3 million, which in my world is low, but for everybody else, 1.3 is pretty fucking sizable. You should, I'm not saying pay them less. You should be paying them the correct amount. I'm concerned because if we look at this pie chart, program expenses, technology expenses, less than 10%. Openly admitting in this bullet point, no investment in our core program asset, the website, for the last 8 years, 2018 to 2023 is what they're averaging here, right? No investment. Has anything changed in the last 2 years? No. They didn't add anything in the last 2 years. So again, since 2018, we are in 2025. It has been 7 years. No investment. They took nothing. They were being given a bucket of $1.3 million. They forked over, what is that, 4/5 of the pie? Maybe? No, I must be doing that math wrong. Whatever. 850,000 of that 1.3. Yeah, I got a sick brain. We're not doing math today. $850,000 per year going to payroll and benefits. Cool. Went up by 2023. $185,000 per in merchandise fulfillment expenses. This is a main core component of their business. You'll even see, I wish I hadn't closed that tab now. On their website, they encourage you to buy t-shirts and buy rewards that represent nothing for you successfully writing 50,000 words. It is a core business for them. It is a significant part of where they are looking for money year by year. They do a lot of marketing and put a lot of money into marketing the merchandise. And yet, fulfillment, 14%. Payroll stuff, yeah, 65%. Well, look at that. My tripod is in the way. Did not reinvest, did not make any new programs, did not make any new technology for the one thing that was genuinely a service that everybody was coming for. In fact, they even had paid memberships to be on the site. They wanted you to pay for something that is a community thing as a nonprofit. Super in line with what Chris Beatty had in 1999. Yeah, really sticking it to the founders. Really going back to basics. 650 mark. Whoops, that's an ad. We're going to skip that really quick. All right, board investigation, the child safety. Neither staff nor volunteers had ever been background checked. No staff, this is straight from NaNoWriMo. This is official. No staff or volunteers had taken the state mandated child safety training. No volunteers had ever filled out formal applications that had their legal information. Concerns about the level of access volunteers had to user data, all of it, because they could access legal information of minors. The Young Writers Program website gave anybody the ability to create an educator account and call themselves a teacher and invite children to join them in the classroom. Little to no programmatic oversight of adult-child interaction in the Young Writers Program. Numerous practices on NaNoWriMo.org, all stemming from our policy of all ages that needed rework. Numerous needed rework. Again, the state mandated, the one that's legal, we skipped it. We didn't background check anybody. Not only do no volunteers need to have formal applications that have any of their legal information, we're just going to allow anybody to just sign up and say that I'm actually a teacher and I can go talk to kids in a completely unsupervised environment alone on the internet. This is a website, a company that has been on the internet since 1999 through all of the advertising that people did on how dangerous internet chat rooms are, directly created that environment. Directly created an environment for child safety. We write fantasy books. We make up little stories in our heads and we say, isn't this so neat? That's the fucking job. That's the fucking job. We are making up little folk tales in our heads to write down on a piece of paper and handing it to our fucking friend in the back row of the classroom going, do you like it? That's the fucking job that we have. And they had a company that was funded millions of dollars. They could have spent any of it on lawyers, but they didn't. They paid themselves first. They paid the majority of the money to themselves first. They gave themselves bonuses and benefits, which I'm not against. Again, admittedly, going back, no investment in the programs, no investment in technology, multiple millions of dollars spread over decades. If we had to look at the lifetime of Nano, we probably would see that they had maybe in the ballpark of $40 million across their plate. Imagine a company that had $40 million over the course of 25 years. And in their 25th year, we found out no state-mandated child safety, no background checks, no legal information. They can access everything about your kid. Anybody can sign up. They can have a private room with your kid. Little to no oversight. There's no moderation. Numerous practices needed rework. This is not small. This is dodging FBI level. Moving on. We've heard, is this? Yes. The litany of additional challenges. Additional gaps in compliant workforce practices. Beyond training background checks, $20,000 in 4 months of working with a labor attorney to remedy this. In 2024, this time last year, This time last year, additional gaps on top of everything else that we've already mentioned to you so far, by the way, additional gaps in compliant workforce practices, $20,000 to work with a labor attorney. A labor attorney. You know what a labor attorney does. You have a job. You know that if a labor attorney gets involved, we're getting a paycheck. Those guys are fucked. What could they have been doing to have additional gaps? We fucked up. There's a couple of them in compliant workforce practices beyond legal background checks. But there's extras actually. We had a couple little slip ups. It cost us $20,000 in our already limited overdraft budget that we've been in negative for over half a decade. For 7 years, we've been in negative. We had to dish out $20,000 and go to a fucking labor attorney camp for the kids. Not for the kids. The children that are running the metaphorical children that are running this company. A level of financial crisis that I love the wording of this. I really a level of financial crisis that has not been previously apparent. Flawed assumptions in cash flow projections, discovery of liabilities that were not accounted for in board documentation. Oh my God. They paid a team of people. They paid a team of people $850,000 a year. They paid a team of, and I'm going to tell you from experience because I had to deep dive this company for my company. They had maybe 30 to 50 people total that they were working with. 30 to 50 people, $850,000 years on end. Multiple volunteers, by the hundreds of volunteers. We had flawed assumptions. We had flawed assumptions in cash flow projections, and we also discovered liabilities. We had discovered liabilities that were not accounted for in our board documentation. We didn't lose the Excel spreadsheet. We just forgot to make one. This is fuck vibe marketing. They're going on vibe sales. They're going on the energy, like fuck. I have a good feeling about 2023, guys. I think just keep the tape rolling. A level of financial crisis that has not been previously apparent, and miscellaneous issues that required significant time, like changing banks, going to Shopify, which is a new platform. I understand that. The knowledge transfer from departing staff makes me really laugh. I really like that. I think that that's funny, considering that their staff were leaving because they had child endangerment thrown at them on top of being like, AI is fine as long as you're disabled about it, which is nuts. That's fucking crazy. Oh, we're halfway. Let's see. We're going to go to 1330. I believe this is it. Yes. They mentioned, we've had declining numbers, things were kind of tumultuous. In the video, they're talking about, things we're not looking too great. We're kind of going downhill. Yet in the email that they sent everybody just now, they were like, "Oh, we've maintained these awesome numbers for such a long time." Again, 2018, we're looking at 120,000 people. Net negative, 35,000 winners. Look at the winners number, 2020 to 2021, significant. Look at the number of participants. If you were to put this on ratio, that COVID does not account for the gap. The part where all writers everywhere are unemployed, staying home for the year, and nobody fucking competed, nobody signed up, nobody did shit. Okay, yeah, maybe it's COVID. That's also the year that you took out a loan. So like those numbers are going to be balanced. They never bounced back. 2023, yeah, they had a good year. They never talked shit about the last two nanos that they had. We don't know. We don't have the numbers for 2024. We don't have the numbers for 2024. I keep thinking that 2020, anyways. This is insane. Now look at the number of children, consistent almost across the board. Like we have, again, this weird dip that happens in 2018, 2019, pre-COVID. This is pre-COVID, that they're having negative numbers in. And yet, it's so incredulous to me. It is so insane to me that you can look at a chart like this year over year. We'll say even if they look at 2020 to 2018 to 2022, that's a 5-year, half a year metric of looking at all of the novels that were started, all of the people that crossed the finish line. You have all of your sales numbers. You know how much you are spending on merchandise. You know how much you are spending on employees and benefits every month. And yet we have this gross expenditure, this this mismanagement of funds that was so diabolically bad. You guys were in the red tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, completely threw millions out the window. And I'd hate to be that guy. I feel like they were just kind of pocketing it. I feel like they were just kind of taking it and running. How do you run a nonprofit whose entire thing is online programs, and then for 6 years not reinvest into programs, no new programs, don't fix up any old programs, no new technology, don't update the website? Nobody on staff was paid for that to be their just 1-year project? No volunteer interns? Nobody? You saw, you knew. Even if you were like 2018, 2019, 2020, things are getting kind of shaky. It's only 1,000 people. It's only a couple thousand. Again, it's not mass exodus. Like you're going from 120,000 to like 50,000, in which you're like, shocked. Like you just got punched in the nose. You can comfortably guess, in 2020, we're going to be at least over 100,000. And even if you get the number wrong, it's a margin of what, 3,200? And nobody thought to add any programs, technology, anything to the website, your main deal breaker. There were no reinvestments and advancements in merchandise. You guys had bailed out, this mounting debt pile over and over and over by basically robbing from other rich people to pay off other rich people again and again and again, expecting that that's just a sustainable cycle without reaching out to the actual community who loved and supported you the entire way. And instead trying to just make product for them to buy. And when they didn't buy product, you made a paid membership and then paywalled shit online. You're a nonprofit. It is adjacent to a charity. You could have asked for donations. And now in your fucking death throes, you were asking for donations. We've canceled all recurring donations. If you want anything from the store, buy that shit now. Because they're trying to bail out the fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars. Which brings me to, I think, my last and final point of this whole video, which is, to be honest with you, a shit show. But I think if you want to watch the video, State of NaNoWriMo by NaNoWriMo Kilby on YouTube. What about other alternatives? We were in serious talks about a merger with another writing company. They didn't want to take on our 6-figure debt. No shit. But we were in serious talks about a merger with another writing org. Who? I know that we're never going to find out, but somebody saw this and were like, we could buy Nano. And somebody could not afford, like if it was a Macmillan or a Simon & Schuster, they probably would have just ate it, because like that kind of a merger would have been bang for buck pretty good for the amount of people that they could have had in. They should have. Somebody didn't want to take on that 6-figure debt. When I see this, I look at that we were in serious talks about a merger. And then under that directly, they didn't want to take on our 6-figure debt. I feel like you fumbled something in that meeting. All companies have debt. There's always dirty secrets with every company. Those are corporations. This is capitalism. This is the state of economy that we live in. It sucks. But like all companies have dirty secrets. It sucks. What did you say or do? What went wrong? That's not like, to be in debt. Yeah, okay. But if you have beyond signs of exponential growth, because we know that you have nothing, Again, acquiring a business, you are buying it for pennies on the dollar for basically its bare scraps. You are planning on reconfiguring everything that it has. It's very rare that a company gets bought out and stays the same. For this to be something where they were hoping to get bought out, but then the thing that stopped them was a six-figure debt, that feels like there was something lost in translation. Because that would just be price to pay. That's completely normal. Like, how many bailout businesses are still alive because somebody just bought them out of bankruptcy? Um, Also, one writing company, one writing org, they were in talks with a merger of seeing a downward spiral of 6 years, wanting to keep the org, running, needing a cash flow in order to do that. You didn't reach out to anybody else. 1.3 million a year is less than Dragonsteel Publishing under Brandon Sanderson makes. Dragonsteel, off of one author. What about I mean, to be quite fucking honest with you, Suzanne Collins made a shit ton of money. J.K. Rowling made a shit ton of money. Do I like J.K. Rowling? Fuck no. You didn't nothing? You know, because especially at this point, you've endangered children on the internet multiple times, and then you double down on AI. Partnering of like having Rowling buy you out is not the worst thing that you could do. You've already gotten the other two. They're going for bingo on all of the red flags of the writing community. We were ill-positioned to seek emergency funding because the organization did not have audited financial statements, table stakes for many grant applications. They weren't able to get bailed out because they didn't have the financial paperwork. They didn't do their taxes. They didn't audit their financial statements. They were so wildly off with how bad they guesstimated the amount of money and then forgot to write it down that nobody would bail them out, not even a bank, despite 1.3 million a year. We heard repeatedly from other would-be grassroots supporters that aligned with NaNoWriMo as an organization, but the company vitriol was a problem. The community vitriol. We heard repeatedly from other would-be's grassroots supporters that they aligned with Nano as an organization, but the community was the problem. We could have gotten funding if you guys weren't so mean. If you guys weren't mean to us, we might have thought about it. But we couldn't because you hurt my feelings. You are a company. You are an organization. You were on the hook with the IRS. You're in debt. You're evading bankruptcy. What do you mean, grassroots supporters that are would-be's that like we like what you think of, but your community is shit? That's a you problem. You build the community. That's you guys are the reason that everybody who stuck around. And the fact that everybody hated you were for things that you have admitted. You mismanaged funds. You endangered children. You doubled down on AI. You never invested to any programs or your website over the course of 6 to 7 years. That's not us. That's not us. You guys fucking deserve it. Numerous AI players approached us with offers of sponsorship. We turned down most of them because they didn't align with our mission. We turned most of them down. Most of them. A couple. We let a couple in. Numerous AI players approached us for offers of sponsorship. We turned down a couple. Eventually the bouncer at the front door, you got to let some minors into the club, which Nano is known for. The hope was that the community would come through and support us when we were transparent about the organization's financial problems. That didn't happen. Yeah, dude, you can't come crying to daddy for more money because you crashed your fucking Benz. That doesn't happen. No. The hope was that the community would come through and bail us out of our own financial woes when we opened up the fact that we blundered all of the money that they've already given us. And they just didn't because of what a vitriolic, poisonous community that we've developed around endangering children, doing nothing to fix it, remediating our labor board accusations with a $20,000 fucking attorney, having half of our team leave, saying nothing to anybody, at any fucking point, having 7 years of 6-figure debt, and now I can't believe that nobody wanted to bail us out. Um, Nano feels surprised about this, as if they're like, well, I don't know. I'm going to be real with you. I knew what this email was the moment that we saw it. We knew that this was going to happen. Their days were numbered. They continually chose to renege on any of their promises. They backed up none of their actions, they backed up none of their promises with action. They have done more damage possibly to the community total. They are now the scapegoat for why we hate AI. We will not remember them for their good shit. The good days were 7 years ago, which is about the same time. It's the same warm and fuzzies you can say of like, when back in my day, my Chemical Romance was awesome. You don't get that anymore. By the way, I just want to, as an ending note, State of NaNoWriMo. This is an official video that was through the NaNoWriMo email. The account that posted this has an AI profile picture. In case you were wondering if there was any forgiveness or acceptance at what they did, AI profile picture off the get go. That's who posted this video. Official for the shutdown. So I hope that you had as much fun as I did reading all of that and reading that email. If you want a better writing community, come see the Myth Dimension. We got a lot of them. Come see our Discord. We have many, many writers who are popping off. We're always sharing stuff with us, with each other. We are doing writing sprints pretty much every day. We're super open. You can come and ask me questions about what kind of social media are you building for authors, and how can I get in on this? What about this idea? Because I love that, because I actually love you. I love writers. That's my retirement plan. I want good stories in the world, because I don't want to be bored as shit at 70 when I can't work anymore and I got nothing to do. So if you want to come join up on the Myth Dimension and you want to get away from this burning trash fire, I would love to have you. I'm going to plant a big juicy kiss on your forehead.